Good afternoon, everyone. Guys, is it me or are things just getting worse? Guys, I can feel and see from monitoring social media, monitoring news outlets, that this bubbling under the surface is just getting hotter and hotter. So, first of all, guys, we're going to talk about what's been happening with Hugh Edwards. We spoke about this last night on our live, and where I don't want to talk about the offence itself, because, everybody's talking about that. What I want to focus this video on is the £200,000 that he's taken in salary since he's been suspended. I'm going to talk about that, guys, and the absolute ludicrousy of it. But before we get into that, guys, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And tonight we will be live at 8 o'clock on this platform. Guys, we're just finding our feet. I'm not really sure how all the software works, so please bear with me. I'm going to try and put an early a preview thing out there so you guys can see it. Click on it and then you'll be notified how it works. Guys, I'll be honest with you, I had no intention of starting a YouTube channel. I had no intention of being a social media guy. I just thought I would continue going around the world and working in these countries that have in the countries that constitution is written in pencil. Anyway, guys, I'm here in the United Kingdom. I think the hands of fate have put me here. I really do. Because I can be here and I can direct and tell people what's happening. All these things that are happening on a geopolitical spectrum. Most of my working career, I've been involved in a lot of these in the background, behind the scenes. I'm speaking to some people. I'm trying to get them on the live stream to come on as a guest. See where we go with that, guys. A lot of my friends are hesitant to come on, and if I do get them on, they're going to have their faces covered, and they're going to have to go with a false name. But anyway, guys, what we're going to talk about now, we're going to talk about Hugh Edwards, his money, and then we're going to give you guys a quick update on what's been happening in Ukraine and how it's looking like what I said. The incursion into Russia by the Ukrainians looks like it is becoming a bit of a disaster for the Ukrainians. This is driving us closer to a potential nuclear disaster, and we'll come on to that at the end, guys. So let's just go straight on to it. I'm not going to share this, guys. I'll just give you the outline. So where are we? Hang on. Hugh Edwards, formerly the highest paid journalist at the broadcasting giant, earned almost £500,000 a year before his arrest in November 23. Reacting to the sentencing. Reacting to the sentencing on GB News, former head of religion and ethics at the BBC, Aqil Ahmed, claimed that Edwards should hand back the money paid to him and encourage the BBC to go through a legal process in order to obtain the salary. Guys, there's no legal process there. That is literally the definition of theft. You can't go after, well, again, my speculation, my analysis, guys, my opinion. I don't know what legal processes are available for, your employer to say, hey, mate, that work you did for me? Yeah, I want the money back. It doesn't work like that. You either stop paying someone when they're suspended and then you reimburse them, or you continue paying them and then their money's theirs. I don't see a legal process where this can happen. I can remember when I was in the army, and I probably shouldn't be saying this. I never did this. But a lot of the guys, when they were leaving the army, what they'd do is they would change their bank accounts like the last week before they got out, because there was an error, and sometimes they would cancel your payments to one bank account, but sometimes it would automatically go into the other bank account. Now, I know guys who have been paid from the army like a year after they've got out, and they've still been getting paid their salary. The MOD, the military, they've never been able to chase anybody for that salary, because that's an employer error. Why should they? Anyway, I don't know the legalities of that, guys. I'm not claiming to know the legalities. Maybe they've been chased for it. I don't know. But I think I don't see any legal challenge that this guy, Hugh Edwards, can pay that money back, guys. I really don't. So the next question is, we are funding the BBC every month, or yearly, however you pay it. You have to pay your BBC licensing fee. And where's this money going? Guys, I'm not going to say any of these keywords, but we all know where this is going. Is there a precedence of this happening before at the BBC? Is there rot at the BBC? Could there potentially be some sort of workplace, workplace culture that cultures this in a different context of that word? Guys, it's absolutely insane. I genuinely don't see this guy paying this money back. If you see him walking to and from court, he doesn't seem to me like he's got any remorse. He doesn't seem to me like he's got, and again, this is just my perception, guys, he doesn't seem like he's in sorrow and he's in, guys, my opinions are the same as yours if you're 99% of the general public. Now, what I'm seeing all over social media, what I'm seeing on TV, on interviews, me and Sarah were in Wetherspoons earlier on, and it came on the news, and the people behind us, they were talking about it really loud, shouting, words that I won't repeat on here, and I can see this bubbling up again, guys. I can see these tensions bubbling up, but now we have the added Brucey bonus. Hang on, guys, let me just quickly. Yeah, but now, guys, we have the added Brucey bonus in the United Kingdom. If we speak out about anything, we get sent to jail. If we speak out and voice opinions, and this is the perception, guys, all right? I know there's legal precedence, and that I know this was all done above board, and the laws that were passed to put people in jail for Facebook posts and online stuff. I mean, on our live, we talked about it yesterday, and where I will agree with the government in the context that a lot of these people were keyboard warriors, and there's something that just winds me up about people who sit behind a keyboard and don't do anything. If you remember when these protests were on, me and Sarah, we were out there, we were giving you guys live feeds, so I totally get how annoying it is. And yesterday on our live, I said, look at this guy here. And I said, it's my opinion that this guy would be the type of person in a pub, he'd start shouting, he'd cause trouble, and then he'd run off. Now, does that mean he deserves 3 years in prison for, posting something on social media? I personally, my opinion, and I've got no legal expertise, but I think that's a little bit harsh for social media posts. And everybody's saying the same now, guys. You're getting this rumbling. Remember how many times have I talked about this pan? The pan, when you put it on the heat, if you want to stop it steaming, Keir Starmer's clamped this big heavy lid on. And guys, what happens next is going to be more catastrophic. What Keir needs to do is he needs to turn the heat off. And it doesn't look like he's capable of doing that. All it looks like he's capable of doing is sending his girlfriend, his wife around to get clothes off other men. Guys, my opinions on that. I think it's a bit weird. But, if he wants to do that, he can do it. Maybe they can buy David Lammy some shoes. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if that's in the budget. But I think David Lammy would look fantastic in some nice leather brogues. Guys, I think he would. That's just me. What do you guys think? I think there'd be a big improvement on his trainers that he wears when he goes to see the President of the United States. Anyway, so that's kind of what's been happening, guys. We're getting this right now in the UK. We've got this boiling and we've got this simmering. And, at some point, very soon, guys, because it is escalating further and further and further. And now there's this thing come out about 200 grand. And you've got these old people now who are getting their winter fuel payment took off them. They're getting their bus pass took off them. They're getting their, what's the other one? The single person allowance on their council tax took off them. Again, this is all speculation at the moment. We don't know if it's happening. We don't know if and it's certainly not happened yet. But what we can see is, can you imagine those old people sat at home now having to pay their TV license, not knowing where this money is going, not knowing if they're funding somebody else who has certain divergences, certain deviations? And those people are going to be sat there and they're going to be getting angry. Guys, if you get a nanan angry, that means the granddad's angry. If you get a nanan angry, that means that means her kids are angry. That means her grandkids are angry. that, that whole sentiment diffuses downhill, and you get the whole family angry. If you're going equally, if you can win over the Nanans, you'll win over a whole family. So you win over one Nanan, you've won over 10 people. And it just looks like at the moment we have an absolute simmering pot that is about to explode. I think that should be the thumbnail. But yeah, guys, absolutely wild. And then if we look to Ukraine, what's been happening recently, this was from the 17th of, so today, 17th September, 9 o'clock this morning. In fact, I will share this with you guys because it's kind of shut. What have I just done? I've told them wrong that. Yeah, so this shows you what I've been saying for quite a while about this divergence between the United States and as it looks now, the EU. So EU eyes providing up to 40 billion in loans to Ukraine as G7 asset plan stalls. EU is preparing to extend up to 40 billion euros in new loans to Ukraine by the end of the year, regardless of US involvement. Guys, how many times have I been saying this? How long have I been saying this? Before any of this was even on the mainstream, before any of this looked like it was possible, when everybody was still shaking hands and, people were, we're all in this together, and Biden was up there with Rishi Sunak or Boris Johnson as it was, and everybody was standing by Ukraine. Guys, if those of you who've been following my channel and our other channels, please put in the comments. I've been saying this for months and months and months and months. You're going to see this divergence, and it's happening. I've just shown you there. You're seeing it. The EU, Europe are starting to understand now whether this is by design or whether it was always planned, or whether they're just doing it on the spur of the moment, or they think they're doing it on the spur of the moment because they've got no other choice. But, you can, once you see things in the weeds, you can see them sprout up. And if you know what the goal is, you can see the paths towards it. My opinion, my speculation, my belief is that the United Kingdom will lead NATO in Eastern Europe by 2025. Guys, I said this on day one, week one of the invasion. I said it in my personal circles. I said it to my friends, and everybody was like, I can't see it, mate. I can't see it. And then, the steps towards it have become smaller, and the small steps towards it have become bigger and bigger and bigger, until now what you've got, and I'll just read you that quick headline again, guys, just so it's, if I can find it, wherever I may have closed it down. No, it's there. EU is preparing to extend up to 40 billion euros in new loans to Ukraine by the end of the year, regardless of US involvement. Guys, if they're saying this now and this coming out in the mainstream media, the likelihood is this is already a done deal, and it's already approved. It's already going to happen, and it's just going to be icing on the cake. So the divergence is real, guys. It's happening. It's going to happen at some point. Now, I don't want to put timings on these things because, I've been relatively successful with timings in the past, but that's when there's not been as many moving parts. We've not had all these, these Trump assassinations, this is like a wild card, but I guess it's kind of a black swan. When you look at it, you're like, right, okay, yeah, right, okay, that's happening now. That's the thing. So it's happened twice. It's probably going to happen a third time. Are they going to get him? I don't know. I genuinely hope not, guys. Equally, I don't think anybody who runs for office should have to be afraid of assassins from their own country. It just highlights the problems we have in our, in our society. And by our society, I mean the United Kingdom is linked to the United States. Regardless about this divergence, guys, it's all smoke and mirrors. The United Kingdom and the US are not really diverting. It's just a show. It's smoke and mirrors, guys. It's 4D chess. The United States have already come out, and they've already said the United States can't break their spear on Ukraine. They can't break their spear on the Russians, because if they do, then whether they're looking at this global conflict of industrial scale, it's going to be huge, and they're going to have to be fighting a war then on multiple fronts. And what the United States, what NATO, what our allies have learned is, one country needs to focus on one threat. That way, you don't get the exterior threats coming in from other countries. So, Ukraine war briefing. Russia retakes 2 villages in the Kursk as counteroffensive continues, Moscow says. Russia also orders evacuation of more villages in the border region after the launch of major bid to reclaim territory taken by Kiev. What we know on day 937. So, Russia said Monday its forces have retaken 2 villages in the Kursk region. It's a significant counteroffensive. Russian forces have been battling Ukrainian forces in the Kursk region since August the 6th. So let's just have a quick look, guys, on the war map here. Hang on. So let's just have a quick look on the... Oh, I've totally monged it. No, there is. So let's just have a quick look on the... Right, I'm going to put this back now to, what did we say? August the 6th. So let's go right back to August the 6th. Wow, it seems like forever away, guys. There's a lot of clicking here. Right, we are back at August. We'll go to August the 5th. And I'll share this with you. Share. There we are. That's it, shared. Right, so this is the region here, Pokrovsk, guys. This is what the Russians are pushing towards. Let me zoom in a bit more, actually. So the Russians are pushing in right there to Pokrovsk. So if you look here, guys, this is the day before the Ukrainians went into Russia. And nobody should take anything away from the Ukrainians either. What they did to Russia has been a huge blow to Putin's credibility. But I'm just going to skip forwards real quick, guys, okay? And watch this region here, guys. So when people are saying the Russians are, are on their last... In fact, it needs to be like that. When people are saying the Russians are on their last legs and they're broken, their economies, watch how much... This is from when the Ukrainians moved into Russia. Can you just see how much ground they've taken since the Ukrainians moved into Russia? Let's just do a quick ruler check. Let's see where we are. Let's go middle of Pokrovsk to there. 10.8 kilometers, I think. Yeah, so 10.8 kilometers. So what's that in miles? Like 6 miles or something. So they're well within range of. They're in range of mortars. So company mortars, 120 millimeter mortar will do that range. It'll do 13 kilometers, 120 millimeter mortar, especially the French one with the rifled barrel. That will do. So that will do 13 kilometers. So they're in indirect fire range, and the Russians are pushing towards this location. So again, when people are saying the Ukrainians are doing X, Y, and Z, and now from the article that we've just shared, it looks like the Russian counteroffensive into the Kursk region is pushing the Ukrainians back. Now, I've said that I feel, and this is my opinion, guys, my speculation and my analysis, I feel the Ukrainians' main intent in the Kursk region is to capture the nuclear power plant, because as I understand it, that nuclear power plant powers 9 regions. If the Ukrainians can take that is a huge bargaining chip. They can, potentially divert energy into their own country. It's a huge, win for the Ukrainians. If they feel, and this is where we become dangerous, guys, if the Ukrainians are getting pushed back and back and back out of the Kursk region, that's when the Ukrainians may say, right, okay, guys, we are going to lose this ground at some point. Right now, we are in range. Our ATACMS, our mortars, whatever, our artillery is in range of the Kursk nuclear power plant. We can either take it out now or risk not being able to take it out at all. So that's the risk that we're at right now. I've said quite a long time, guys, all right? I don't think, you can take this power plant out without causing a nuclear catastrophe. There's power cables, there's substations, there's transistors, there's all sorts of, ancillary buildings that you can, destroy, make obsolete, just vaporize them or whatever you're going to do without actually damaging the reactor and the fissionable material. But The problem lies when something happens by mistake. And nobody can tell the Ukrainians not to attack this power plant because the Russians have been making a concerted effort to attack, to destroy, and discredit the Ukrainians' energy system. This is as we move into the colder, the colder months, guys. It gets ridiculously cold in Ukraine. The coldest I've ever felt it out there was -26. And if any of you guys are from Ukraine, you'll probably tell me, "Da, Sean, Deladna, there's no problem. It's very warm." But, we've probably had it colder. But for me, as a Brit, somebody who came, spent most of my working career in the Middle East up until 2014, and then I'm in Ukraine and it's like -26. It gets very cold, guys, all right? And I know you guys can deal with that, but, it gets cold. Now, if it gets cold and the power grid's gone, that means a lot of people are going to be really, really cold, potentially freezing. Guys, again, this puts more strain on the energy grid. So the Ukrainians are going to need energy from somewhere. Where's that energy going to come from? It's going to have to come from Europe. This is going to have to come in. Europe only have a set amount of energy. So if in the United Kingdom, if we have a particularly cold winter this year, are we going to be able to do like we normally do, get nuclear energy from the from the French? I don't know. We're looking like we're heading towards this winter, guys. There's so many different data points of calamity coming in towards this, guys. It's absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, guys, I am going to map to grid. I'm going to leave it there. Don't forget to join us tonight, guys. I'm going to be live at 8 o'clock. We're just learning. Well, I'm just learning how to do this. I'm not the most efficient with the software. I'm running this show on my own. So please join in, guys. Throw questions at me. Any questions? Nobody's given us any questions on aliens or anything weird yet, guys. I'd love one of those questions. Anyway, guys, like I said, I'm going to map to grid and I'll speak to you guys later.